DC's Absolute Universe has been making some waves. In all my time reading comics, I have never seen so many new readers not only jumping into something new, but sticking around. Absolute Batman has consistently been a top seller. Back in October of 2025, its first collection, The Zoo, was up at the top of the charts, competing with things like Solo Leveling and Don Da Don. Big DC's kind of having a moment here, and as a certified capehead, I couldn't be happier. This is many people's first time seeing just how diverse comics as a medium are, even within the superhero genre. To me, the source of that magic lies in how both the DC Absolute Universe and the Marvel Ultimate Universe are largely responses to the world in the 2020s. One where wins for the little guys are harder to come by. One where Darkseid is at the heart of its DNA. It's this approach that has led to some inspirational takes on classic characters. Especially with books like Absolute Green Lantern, which is a superhero horror comic. A combination of genres that is actually a lot more common than some would expect. My name is Chaz, and this is Comic Creatures. We talk about comics big and small. Absolute DC has been a blast, and today, I'd like to talk about my current favorite comic. Absolute Martian Manhunter by writer Denise Camp and artist Javier Rodriguez. If you were around in the 2000s, Martian Manhunter John Jones is kind of a A- list superhero. There's your big hitters like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. There's the Flash. And then you probably name drop him after Green Lantern, but before Green Arrow. Mainly, he was a big part of the Justice League cartoon, a show that introduced not only me, but like a lot of people to the larger DC universe. Which is why you might be surprised to hear that he actually doesn't have that many comics to himself. Martian Manhunter in the last 30 years has, generally, been a character reserved for the Justice League comics. His solo runs are few and far between. In 2020, actually, there was a graphic novel called Identity, and the year before that, he had a 12-issue maxi series, but in general, he doesn't get explored very often. I think that sucks. I think John Jones is a really cool character. He's got a fun origin story and a fun power set. Basically, he came to Earth as an adult after like a plague killed basically everyone on Mars, including his own wife and daughter, which actually makes him one of DC's more unique alien immigrants, where he doesn't look like a human like a Kryptonian does, and also he had a full life before coming to Earth. And while he does have the staple powers of flight, super strength, eye lasers, Martian Manhunter's most iconic ability is arguably his shapeshifting. Then after that, it's his intangibility, and then probably it's his mind reading, right? His stories frequently grapple with his position in the world. He's a formless outsider walking among us. Despite being able to read our thoughts and turn into one of us and fundamentally know that he's not that different, it's hard for him, the character, to think otherwise. That's largely been the status quo for his character for quite some time now. So how does the Absolute Universe, a world corrupted by Darkseid's influence, change him? Well, for starters, he's two guys now. Man and Martian. After narrowly surviving a cafe bomb, FBI agent John Jones finds that he's developed a sort of sixth sense. The sounds have color, the thoughts have taste, and the sights, well, the sights have feelings. All given to him as a result of his new headmate. This guy, the Martian. Now, the Martian, as we understand, it isn't from Mars. It's more of a extraplanar being with the ability to affect our world through the warping of perception. Things happen because John knows they happen. It is, largely, a translation of the classic Martian Manhunter powers of telepathy and Martian vision. Now, mainline John Jones' Martian vision is typically more of a psionic blast. It's a heatless ray. Functionally, it is a way for Martian Manhunter to attack his enemies with his mind. The Martians don't like fire in the normal universe, so instead of having heat lasers, he has like mind beams. In the Absolute Universe, Martian vision is redefined to a sight beyond sights, a third eye. He can see the noise of the city with his eyes, displayed in this wonderful visual jazz. John essentially falls in, right? And the Martian chauffeurs him through it like he's having a bad trip. But why him? Why did the Martian pick John Jones? Well, as of right now, we don't know why specifically John, but now's a good time to talk about him. In this universe, John Jones is a member of the FBI's Stochastic Terrorism Task Force. It is essentially his job to stop crimes before they happen. He investigates people and their habits to determine who is like a risk, basically. We quickly learn that he was on the job at the start of the book, right? And the Martian later explains that he wasn't supposed to live, actually. The Martian rewrote the scene to keep him alive. Visually, his design features these small, sunken eyes, which, when combined with their light blue color, gives him kind of an ethereal look. Going past that, he is one of two characters who actually has colored eyes at all, the other one being his son. So John is a generally muted person, right? But he does have the ability to connect. His wife Bridget shares those first few pages with him, and the book frequently brings up how connected they are despite his reputation for appearing emotionally flat. Now, it's possible that the Martian saw these qualities in John and picked him because of it. He's an outsider with a love of humanity, someone grounded enough to help protect the city of Milton from what can't be understood with human eyes. Because, you see, the green guy isn't the only Martian in Milltown. John's Martian is actually one of two. The other one is equally capable of changing people's minds. One that bends them towards hateful, violent thoughts. Let's talk about the White Martian. But before that, if you're enjoying the video, please consider subscribing. The big motivation behind this channel is to get more people to check out comics, right? I actually run a book club, We Love Webcomics, where every couple of weeks we go into this big list of submitted books and talk about them. For instance, here's my team's comic, One Time Taxes. One Time Taxes is an urban fantasy action comic where trash man Price Tag gets this mask helmet thing stuck to his head, and after a really rough day at work, it tells him to go out and kill taxes, the almighty talk show host that rules the world. The first 3 parts are free to read online, and if you'd like to help us make more, you can subscribe to this channel or support us on Patreon for as low as $1. Links are in the description below. So the story at the heart of Absolute Martian Manhunter, as I see it, is about how the connections we have between each other constructs reality. What we see of other people is true because it exists inside of our heads. The Martian vision gifted to John by the Green Martian allows him to see their personal realities, the worlds inside of their heads. And it does this with the goal of preventing what it calls bad ideas. The White Martian does the same, but works in pursuit of those bad ideas. And in a maligned world where history continues to be defined by its greatest villains, a world built by Darkseid, there's a lot of pissed off people who are vulnerable to the toxic touch of the White Martian. We first see John properly using his powers in the comic's first issue. He returns to his work and interviews people who are connected with the bomber at the start of the comic. And as he's listening to them, he's also watching portions of their lives billow out of their ears as these multicolored clouds of thought. A miasma of feelings. He will smell someone's 4th birthday party and taste their first rejection. The second issue involves a spree shooter, and the Martian dives into his mind to give John a way of de-escalating the situation, right? But all it finds is violent thoughts coiled up in white web. On another page, we see the words in his skull printed in this crooked white text. They're trying to replace us. He's been pushed over the edge by the White Martian, and he's not the only one. Across Middleton, we see white smoke coming from people's ears. And that smoke largely is how we, the readers, get to learn about the comic's damsel in distress, the people. The smoke connects the city, like otherwise nameless background characters, to the greater narrative in ways that only a comic really can. Through its visuals. We learn about the daily wins and woes of just about everyone who isn't given a proper name on the page. Which is really cool, because a lot of the time in the crime drama genre, the only people that really matter in the narrative are those who are directly involved with creating or causing the crime. You know how it goes. Dead men tell no tales, right? But they do. Every death hangs heavy on the page. Issue 3 opens with the random murder of a homeless man, and it dedicates some beautiful prose to someone whose wiki entry would otherwise entirely be about how they died and who did it.
Even though he lived on the streets since he was 14, Big Al's last thought was, I wanna go home. He hadn't had a home to go to in 20 years, but it's all he could think through the heat and the pain.
And then we connect that to this guy, Detective Mayweather. He hates his job and wants to go home, and he should probably quit. And I'm not going to spoiler this issue for you because I'd rather you go out and read this comic yourself. But the point is that the people here are so important, and they're what the Martians are ultimately fighting over. That shared space between us, the communal perception. What happens in your mind also happens. So what is happening? What is a good idea? Because it's that which shapes our reality, and that is what we see in the smoke. Hey, thank you for watching. This channel is, like I said, very new, and we're really starting to find our sound, so if you enjoyed us, please leave a comment below. If you want to get a little bit more involved, you can join the Wheel of Webcomics book club that I host on Discord. At this time, it's a community of over 100 comic creators and readers. Super sick place to be. You can find that in my team's comic, One Time Taxes, in the description below. Have a great one. See you next time.